My wife cheated with a club DJ. I sipped whiskey, called a detective, then burned her entire world down with one flash drive. After a wild night at the club with the guy she was secretly seeing, my wife woke up in the hospital with a fractured leg and a humiliating statement cut into her back. You read that correctly. Carved. 3 bold, bloody words appeared on her flesh, right above her spine, in a font that no tattoo artist could ever replicate. Property of a liar. Her lover. I'm hardly breathing in the ICU. Eyes slid back and tubes were everywhere. Cops are roaming the waiting room like hungry hounds. And me? I was at home sitting by the fireplace, sipping whiskey with his wife Candace, and watching the local news as the first reports of the club incident appeared on the television. My cell phone vibrated. Detective Elias. Unknown number. Mr. Taylor, would you mind answering some questions? I laughed, leaned back in my chair and muttered into the phone, Of course, detective. I have nothing to conceal. Because I didn't. That night my alibi was solid. Candace and I had receipts, video, and meal witnesses. And I didn't touch either of them. But don't believe I wasn't involved. I was the mastermind behind that chaos. The calm storm behind the curtains. The man who watched his wife destroy everything we created before turning her game into a fucking war. Let us rewind. Because this problem did not begin with blood and sirens. It began with silence. With frigid shoulders, locked phones, and a perfume I couldn't recognize. Madison, my wife, had always been wild. Gorgeous. Unpredictable. Full of fire. That's what drew me in. But is that the same fire? It began burning me alive. About 6 months ago, she began dressing differently. Nights out transformed into no wake-ups. I suddenly became the dull husband with early meetings and a mortgage. She sought excitement. I showed her love. She handed me Tyler. Tyler King. Wannabe DJ. Gym rat, drives a Dodge Challenger, and wears sunglasses at night. The type of guy who believes that having bottle service elevates his status. He was everything I was not, and everything she was pursuing behind my back. How did I find out? No, not through text messages, not by catching her in action. No. It was her giggle. I hadn't heard that phony, high-pitched chuckle since college. She only used it when she was trying to get attention, like a schoolgirl. She thought I wasn't paying attention, but I overheard her giggling through the bathroom door while on speakerphone. I did not confront her that night. I waited. I was watching. I documented every falsehood, every sly maneuver, each late-night Uber journey. I let her believe she was astute as I was blind. But when she shared a tale from Girls' Night, and I zoomed in on the mirror reflection, behind her sunglasses, a sleeveless hoodie, and that stupid Challenger keychain, I knew. Tyler. That night I determined the game was mine. I did not yell. Did not yell. I didn't touch her. I smiled, kissed her cheek, and told her I loved her. Then I began making calls. Candace was the key, Tyler's wife. She'd suspected something for weeks but had no proof. Until I brought my receipts. Together, we became what Madison and Tyler could never be. Partners. And we planned the ideal stage. A club. A blackout. A backroom brawl that would not immediately affect us but would leave an indelible impression. Literally. What's the message on her back? That was Candace's idea. She explained that Madison needed to feel it. What a shame. The branding. The irreversible truth. Madison was discovered crying, wounded, and crawling in heels that she couldn't walk in. Tyler? He attempted to fight back. Things didn't go well for him. But like I said, I didn't touch them. And when the cops arrived, I gave them wine, smiled, and offered them a receipt for the nice meal I had with Candace across town. At 9:47 p.m., just as the paramedics were removing my wife from the club's toilet floor. But this? This is only the beginning. Because Madison has no idea, laying in that hospital bed, full of morphine and regret, that I am not finished. Not even close. This is not about getting even. It is about bringing the game to an end. Her betrayal violated the rules. Now, I set the rules. She opened her eyes in that sterile hospital room and stared at me, as if I were expected to care. I felt like I was supposed to bend in, grab her hand, kiss her forehead, and murmur, "It's going to be okay." No, Madison. You threw OK off a balcony the day you let that clown unzip your dress in the back of his filthy vehicle. Ethan, she croaked, raspy from painkillers. What happened? I reclined against the wall, arms crossed, as serene as a man watching his favorite movie. You tell me, I asked. Last time I looked, you were heading out for wine with Laura. How does one find a club toilet with a broken leg and a dress around their waist? She blinked. That identical small twitch in her left eye occurs when she is preparing to lie. I don't remember. I believe I was drugged. Of course. The classic escape path. Victim mode. I approached her bed, peered directly into her exhausted, stitched-up face, and murmured, "They carved the word liar into your back, Madison." That wasn't at random. She looked away. Good. That's when Candace entered the room. Madison's face was drained of color. Candace did not say anything. She simply stood at the door, like a shadow from hell. Arms folded. Seeing the woman who slept with her husband attempt to breathe through a cracked rib, Madison gasped. Why is she here? I grinned. Oh, she's with me. That struck her harder than the fractured leg. Are you serious? As a heart attack, I explained, drawing up a chair. See, while you were out doing your little sneak around. Candace and I were piecing everything together. Every deception, every deceptive message, every spa weekend that ended in cheap motels and bathroom stalls. I didn't mean, she began. No, I replied, cutting her off. You meant every second of it. You just didn't think I'd ever figure it out. You thought I'd keep playing the loyal husband while you played house with a guy who wears muscle tees in January. Tears welled in her eyes. Not actual ones. The type she used when she wanted something. You think I wanted this, she snarled. Do you think I planned for Tyler to get hurt? For me to end up like this? Candace finally stepped forward. No, she replied. You planned for me to never find out. You thought you were smart, Maddie, you were just loud. She dug into her backpack and threw a flash drive on the hospital tray. There's footage, Candace said coldly. The club's back cameras. Your husband and I made sure they were backed up. Madison's mouth opened and closed, like a fish breathing on dry land. This is insane, she muttered. You're framing me. No one needs to frame you, I replied. You already built the gallows. I stood up, grabbed my coat and glanced down at her. You know what hurts the most? I inquired. Not the affair, not even the lies. It's that you didn't even try to hide how little I meant to you. Her lips twitched. Ethan, please. I shook my head slowly. No, Madison. Save your breath. You'll need it to explain all this to your mom and the lawyer. Her eyes widened. Lawyer? I smiled. I'm divorcing you. You're going to lose the house, the car, and your social media deals. And when the nurses ask what happened to your back, you're going to have to lie again. Because the truth, I leaned in. The truth will humiliate you. Then Candace and I walked out. We didn't say anything till we got to the elevator. She turned to face me. You sure you're okay? No, I responded. But I'm done being quiet. And as the elevator doors closed behind us, I understood I was not broken. I was only getting started. Do you know what they don't tell you about revenge? It is not loud. It is not dramatic or messy. It's clean, precise, and surgical. And the best part? They never saw it coming. 2 weeks before Madison's hospital bed became her throne of humiliation, I was sitting in our kitchen pretending to be the oblivious spouse. Pancakes, coffee, false morning kisses. The full routine. Meanwhile, I coordinated with Candace like if we were organizing a wedding, not a takedown. We had everything. Phone records, private messages, and hotel reservations made under inept, phony names. Mr. and Mrs. Knight. Seriously. We were not simply watching them. We were analyzing them. Tyler had a routine. Every Friday after his gym session, he went to the same tavern on 8th Street. He thought he was slick, constantly parked behind the building and messaging Madison to wait 15 minutes so they wouldn't show up together. She'd wear the red leather jacket she purchased behind my back. The one I observed suddenly appeared without a receipt. She said it was Laura's present to me. Laura relocated to Chicago last year. Their favorite club? Velvet Room. A dark, neon-lit mess where intoxicated individuals became secrets and cameras constantly malfunctioned. Except one did not. That camera, which was mounted above the emergency escape, captured everything the night I put my plan into action. Candace and I had a friend on the inside, a bartender named Leo. He despised Tyler. He said he never tipped. So when we requested entrance to the secret back room, Leo smiled and answered, "I'll leave it unlocked." Madison arrived that night wearing heels that were excessively high for a woman trying to sneak around. Her lipstick had smeared before she even ordered a drink. Tyler greeted her like a loose dog, placing his hand on her waist and whispering filth into her ear. They disappeared into the back room, giggling. That was their final chuckle. See, Leo made sure the room was dark enough to be uncomfortable, yet bright enough to read the writing on the walls. And by wall, I mean Madison's back. I did not employ somebody to do it. That is the brilliance part. Tyler had enemies. Old deals have gone wrong. All I had to do was tell the appropriate person where he would be, with whom, and at what time. Madison was caught in the crossfire. And you know what? I do not feel awful. She engraved the betrayal long before anybody else did. The media caught on quickly. Club attack leaves 2 injured. Motive unknown. Photos leaked. The message on her back went viral. Property of a liar. T-shirts were printed. Memes exploded. And Madison? She could not delete quickly enough. Her modeling sponsors have dropped her. Fitness brands began to drop contracts. The influencer queen had become a punchline. And Tyler? He hasn't opened his eyes since the night it occurred. The ICU describes it as stable, but critical. Candace paid him a visit once. She told me she stood by his bedside and murmured, "I hope you hear this, Tyler. I hope you dream of it every night. You destroyed your family for a woman who can't even lie well." Cold. Perfect. Madison was unaware of the extent of the devastation when she returned home. She texted me, "Please talk to me. I never meant for it to go this far. I love you." I didn't respond because her love came in the form of moans behind my back and lipstick-stained falsehoods, and now it was my turn to disappear. I took time off from work, planned a brief trip, and left the house unoccupied. No note. There's no explanation. Allow her to sit in the solitude she created. Allow her to feel the echoes of what she broke. I wasn't gone forever. Just long enough. Long enough for her to worry if I would ever return. And long enough for me to decide whether I should. I disappeared for 5 days. No texts, calls, or status updates. It's just a blank place where I used to be. Madison had no idea where I had gone, and that was the objective. She needs to feel like I did for months. Ignored, puzzled, suspicious, and helpless. She needed to rot in that empty house, opening the door every 5 minutes as if I was going to walk in. But I was already on the opposite side of the country, somewhere pleasant and calm. I sat on a terrace at night with a bottle of bourbon and no recollection. There was nothing but wind and waves, and her voice was silent. I did not miss her. That's the most thrilling part. You believe you'll collapse without the person you've built your life around. But once the lies are exposed, all you feel is freedom. She tried to phone me 42 times. I did not pick up. She messaged my sister, emailed my work, and tried to reach Candace. This was a mistake. Candace texted her once, "He's done with you. Be done with yourself." I'm not sure what occurred after that, but I imagine Madison screaming at her phone in our old living room, surrounded by walls that echo her betrayal. On day 6, I flew home. No. Not for her, but for me. I needed to witness the destruction, to know that the storm had done its work. When I entered the house, it was dark. No candles, no phony romantic apologies. Just her, sitting on the kitchen floor in a sweatshirt and no makeup. Her eyes crimson, like a ghost who had forgotten to die. "Ethan," she exhaled, as if speaking my name provided her with oxygen. I didn't say anything. She got up slowly, hobbling slightly, her legs still recovering from the night that changed everything. "I thought you left for good." I shut the door behind me and dropped my luggage. I considered it. She leaned out and touched me. I took a step back. Her hand hung there, shaking, until she jerked it back as if it was burning. She said, "Can we please talk?" I know I messed up. I know I don't deserve you, but I can't sleep. I can't eat. I feel like I'm going crazy. I almost laughed because I had gone insane first. Listening to her falsehoods night after night, and gaslighting myself into thinking I was paranoid. And now she was drowning in the poison she had spilled. She moved closer. You didn't deserve what I did. But Tyler he made me feel something. I was scared, bored. I don't know. I just don't. I interrupted. Don't you dare stand in front of me and say bored, like it's a valid excuse for betrayal. She started crying. I made a mistake. No, I snapped. You made a series of choices, over and over, and now you're upset because your fun blew up in your face. She collapsed into herself, shaking. I don't want to lose you. You already did. Silence. Then softly. What are you going to do? I looked around the kitchen, where we used to eat breakfast, and the fridge was still covered in images of phony grins. I'm going to finish what I started, I announced. Her eyes expanded. What does that mean? It means I've already filed for divorce. It means I've already contacted your sponsors and sent them the full story, including the footage. It means I'm not just erasing you from my life. I leaned in closer. I'm making sure the world sees who you really are. She collapsed on the floor, but I did not remain to witness. I walked upstairs, packed the rest of my belongings, and walked back down with only my keys. As I opened the door, she looked up with bulging eyes and uttered something I never expected. Ethan. Was it you? I paused. She did not blink. That night at the club, the carving, the cameras, the timing. Was it you? I gazed at her for a long time. Then I smiled. Doesn't matter now, does it? I walked out. When I went out that day, I vowed never to speak to her again. However, fire does more than only burn down a house. It remains in the air long after the flames have died. And Madison, she was still standing in the smoke, choking on everything she never imagined would catch up with her. Within a week, she was everywhere, but not in the way she used to be. No more photo ops, vacation collaborations, or product sponsorships. There will be no more Madison Taylor lifestyle posts with phony grins and immaculate filters. The influencer community turned its back quickly. Screenshots of her texts were leaked on Twitter. Reddit received clips of her giggling with Tyler in the club's dim lights. Even her own supporters turned against her. The comment sections were harsh. This is the girl who preached about loyalty? Karma sculpted her better than any tattoo artist could. Imagine ruining your marriage for a dude who can't even breathe on his own now. I did not post anything. I didn't defend myself. Did not need to. The truth possessed its own legs. I focused on rebuilding my life, minus the chaos. I moved into a clean flat with genuine silence. There are no scent clouds, and no second phone stashed in the drawer. Just myself, a couch, and the peace I had forgotten about. Nevertheless, the calls continued to come in. Blocked numbers. Unknowns. One night, I finally responded. Ethan. Her voice was so frail it was hardly audible. I didn't say anything. She went on. I know you detest me. I deserved it. But I have something to tell you that I have not told anyone else. I remained mute. I'm being followed, she muttered. I suppose there's someone observing me outside my flat. My tires got slashed yesterday night. My stomach wrenched, not out of terror, but because of annoyance. Are you sure Karma isn't making house calls? I replied harshly. I'm serious, she growled. This is not online hate. This is real. Someone is messing with me. Are you sure this isn't one of Tyler's other side pieces? Madison, you were not his only error. Silence. Then she said something that took the floor out from under me. I think it's someone you told. I froze. What? She kept her voice down. What transpired at the club that night was not a coincidence. You and Candace made a strategy. I know it. I don't care about the divorce, I deserved it. But whatever happened afterward, the stalking, the threats, I believe it was due to what you started. I clenched my jaw. No one's coming for you, Madison, I informed her. They already did. You survived, but someone's still playing, she said quietly. And I think they're not done. I hung up for the first time in weeks, and I didn't feel victorious. I sensed something darker. Not regret, not guilt, but something in between. What if someone did go too far? What if I opened the floodgates and something went loose in her world that I couldn't control? I attempted to brush it off. I told myself she was just terrified, paranoid, and spiraling like usual. But the next night, I received a call from Candace. "Have you heard of Madison?" she asked. "Number what?" She jumped outside her gymnasium. Black eye and broken wrist. He murmured, "Liar gets what she deserves." I sat down, my heart stopped. Candace halted. "You haven't done this, right?" "No," I replied quickly. "Did you?" "Of course not." Silence. "So who the hell did?" she asked. And for the first time I couldn't come up with an answer. I believed the game had ended. It turned out to be only a change of players. I didn't get much sleep the night Madison jumped. Not because I no longer cared about her, that part of me died the moment Tyler's name appeared on her lock screen. But because I had a scary realization. I was no longer the most dangerous person in her life. And that means things were heading in an unexpected direction. I texted Candace first. "Ethan, we need to talk. Tonight." She responded instantly. "Candace. This is my place. 8 p.m. No phones." That final bit chilled me. When I arrived, she had already poured 2 glasses of wine and covered the windows as if we were prepared for battle. "Talk," she said. "There's no small talk or hugs, just straight to business." "I didn't send anyone after her," I told her. "You didn't either, right?" "Of course not," she responded, plainly insulted. "I wanted justice, not a felony." We sat there in silence for a long while. I could hear the fridge hum and the occasional car driving by outside. But inside it felt like the stillness before a bomb. Candace eventually shattered it. "There's someone else involved." I nodded slowly. "Do you think you are one of Tyler's enemies?" She stared at me, her expression serious. "Tyler did not only cheat on me, Ethan. He owed others. There are many people." She went over to a drawer and took out a folder. Old school. Thick with printed papers, photographs and messages written in red ink. "I did some digging," she explained. "After everything exploded, I became inquisitive. Tyler used to operate scams, including cryptocurrency pumps, bogus events, and debt collection fronts. He screwed a lot of people." I flipped through the folders. A single name stood out. "I'm Brandon Malloy. Who is this?" I asked. She averted her gaze for a moment before responding. "Tyler owed someone $60,000. Someone who went to prison for serious assault 3 years ago and was released 3 months before all of this happened." I felt my throat tightening. "Do you think he is after Madison?" Candace nodded. "If he thinks she was part of it or just close enough to matter, then yeah." I leaned back and rubbed my temples. This was not part of the plan. I wanted her disgraced and ruined online, not beaten to death in a parking lot. Candace sat alongside me and said something unexpected. "You should warn her." I laughed bitterly. "After what she did to us?" She glanced at me with a softer expression. "This is not about forgiving. It's about not reverting to their previous state. We planned vengeance, not destruction." I gazed into her eyes and saw something familiar. No love, no pity. Just the expression of someone who has been through fire, and did not want to see someone else burn like that. So the following morning, I did it. I phoned Madison. She picked up on the first ring. "Ethan," her voice crackled, exhausted. "Listen carefully," I said. "You are in danger, and it isn't from me. Tyler screwed someone over. His name is Brandon Malloy." Silence, followed by a whisper. "I recognize that name. Tyler mentioned him once. He threatened to murder him if he escaped." "Well, guess what?" I replied. "He's out, and he might think you're part of Tyler's games." She did not speak. "I'm not calling again," I stated. "Get out of town. Now." I hung up before she could speak. Because, as much as I despised her, I was not going to let her die. Not like this. But I had no idea Brandon was pursuing more than just her. He was looking for anyone who had ever had an impact on Tyler's life. And that included me. I believed I was out, finished, free, and clean. But Brandon Malloy had a different perspective. It began with a note. No envelope, no return address. Just a bit of paper stuffed under the door of my apartment. Written in all caps and black ink. You played a part. Now pay a price. I stared at it for quite a while. The handwriting was jagged and aggressive, as if someone had slashed each letter into the paper. I did not panic. I did not call the police. Not yet. Instead, I checked the hallway cameras. Nothing. The video cut out at about 2:16 a.m. and 2:24 a.m. Perfect blackout window. Classic move. Whoever did this knew how to move. That means it was time to stop pretending that this was only Madison's problem. I phoned Candace. She answered the second call. He found me too, she replied before I could say anything. There was a dead bird on my porch this morning. The neck snapped. Jesus. All right, I replied, pacing. We need to meet. Find out how deep this goes. No, she replied bluntly. We have to disappear. Only for a while. This is not a joke anymore. She was correct, but I wasn't prepared to run. Not yet. Because this wasn't simply a threat. It was a message. And the messages were meaningful. I dug in. I called an old friend named Drew, who owed me a favor from college. A guy who is now deeply involved in cybersecurity. Drew could make secrets scream. I sent him the note and handed him everything Candace discovered in that folder. Names, dates, deals Tyler had touched, and people he had duped. Drew followed up with me a day later. Ethan, he murmured quietly. You're on a list. My blood became chilly. What type of list? He exhaled. Brandon Malloy kept records while inside. Letters, names, connections. You, Candace, and Madison. Tyler's former gym trainer was also involved. All have been flagged. Some of them have crimson ink. What does that mean? Inmate code. Red ink means final. I sat down hard. My hand felt shaky. He's not looking for vengeance, Drew continued. He wants to purify. He believes Tyler's associates conspired to defraud him. It makes no difference whether it is true or false. I hung up without saying goodbye. It wasn't just a grudge. It was a campaign. And I was next. That night I prepared a go bag. Only the essentials. I changed my phone. I wiped my laptop. And I did something else that I promised not to do. I phoned Madison. She spoke up, her voice faint and breathy. Hello? It's me. You should leave town, tonight. I'm already gone, she explained. I checked into a motel 2 states away. I didn't expect you to call. I had to, I explained. We're all targets now. She was silent for a second. She then said something unusual. Ethan, do you think I earned all this? I halted. No, I replied. You deserve to be exposed. Not hunted. I didn't know Tyler owed that man, she said quietly. I didn't know any of it. It doesn't matter now. Just stay low. I miss who we were, she said, like a child clutching to a bedtime story. That person died the moment you let someone else into our bed, I informed you. I then ended the call. Candace and I met one more time before leaving town. There were no tears. There's no romance. Just a strategy. We disappear, she remarked. There are no numbers, no social media, and nothing that links us back. We agreed. I was almost ready to leave when she touched my arm. If we survive this, she said softly, we will never talk about Tyler again. I nodded, but deep down I knew this would not end in silence. It would end with someone bleeding. I should have vanished, taken the new name, the prepaid phone, the blank slate, and simply vanished. But I did not. Because when you've been hunted, truly hunted, the only thing worse than fear is not knowing when it'll strike. So I quit running. I called someone I had not spoken to in years. Marcus Wells. Ex-military. Ex-felon. Now a private security ghost who handles non-newsworthy matters. He owes me one. I cashed in. Brandon Malloy, I informed him. He is circling me and a few others. I want it to stop. Paper trail? He asked. None, I replied. But I have names and faces, a dead bird, a threat note, and a blackout security camera. He is trying to make a point. Marcus did not hesitate. I'll find him. 3 days later, I received an SMS. We found him. Philadelphia alone. I want a conflict. I booked the next flight. There is no return ticket. I didn't intend to fight, but I needed to see him, to face the man whose wrath had swallowed my history, my ex-wife, and all that once seemed like a future. The meeting took place in a dilapidated warehouse just outside Kensington. Classic cliché. Cracked windows, rusted gates, and blackness as dense as smoke. Marcus waited at the exit, merely a shadow on a brick wall. "He's inside," he explained. "But I'll warn you, he's not right in the head." "Neither am I," said, stepping inside. The area smelled of oil and something unpleasant. Rats scurried across beams. Then I saw him. Brandon, mid-40s, shaved head, large hands. The type of guy who seemed like he could break your back with a handshake. He sat on a folding chair, a switchblade in his hand, and smiled as if the devil knew your secrets. "You're Ethan," he replied without looking up. "Yeah. You helped ruin me," he said, as if it were a compliment. "You and your bitch of a spouse." Her partner believed he could outsmart me. It turns out that betrayal goes in circles. I moved closer. "This ends now." He chuckled. "Do you think you can threaten me?" "No," I replied. "I came to offer a deal." He raised an eyebrow. "Leave Candace and Madison alone. You vanish. In return, I move away and allow you to continue breathing." The smile widened. "Why should I believe you?" "Because I brought something you want." I dropped the flash disk on the ground between us. "These are Tyler's contacts. The actual ones. His encrypted files. Every fraud. Every empty wallet. Every penny he ever moved." Brandon's expression changed. Quiet. Hunger. He picked up the drive carefully, his gaze fixed on mine. "Are you telling me that this will refund my money?" "More," I replied. "It provides you leverage, power. But only if you leave the rest of us alone." He rose up and walked up to me, close enough that I could smell the tobacco on his clothing. "I could kill you right now." "You could," I replied. "But then this deal vanishes, and you spend the rest of your life running from ghosts and cops." We were staring at each other. A long, silent war, in a single glance. Then he took a step back. "Deal," he mumbled. And just like that, it was over. I left that warehouse feeling like a man reborn via hellfire. Madison never called back. Candace disappeared as promised. And I respected her decision. The silence you fought for can often be the only way to find closure. What have I learned? That treachery causes scars that no one sees. That love is equally harmful as hate. And that revenge does not always bring healing. It just sets you free. If you're reading this and wondering what to do when the person you most trusted stabs you in the back, here's some advice. Don't pursue justice. Thanks for watching and being part of the drama. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a wild news story.